Hey guys, MCU Collector here. So in this video, it's actually going to be talking about the differences between the legit Red Hulk Build-A-Figure and the knockoff or bootleg or overrun Red Hulk that you can get from China pretty cheap on eBay. So I originally had the KO knockoff bootleg, whatever you want to call it, in my collection, but I just recently purchased the legit, official, authentic Build-A-Figure, so I'm going to be doing a comparison between the two. But first, a quick update to some Legends figures. So in this video for the Target exclusive 2-pack of Spider-Man and Kraven, I forgot to swap the heads on the two Kraven. So how did I do that? I have no idea. I guess my memory just slipped my mind. On top of that head swap, I'm also going to be putting the Kraven head and seeing if it fits on the Venom figure, because in that storyline, after Kraven killed Peter, which, I mean, he didn't, but he put on the suit and was going around acting like Spider-Man. So I'm going to see if that head fits on there and we can kind of have that Kraven look. So let's get right to it and do those head swaps on those two Kravens. Okay, and here are the two Kraven figures. You can see they're slightly different height because this new one has different lower legs than this one, so that's why you see the height discrepancy. So we'll go ahead and do the head swap right now. We'll take the new head off, take the old head off, and then we'll pop the new one on there. And it fits just fine because they are the same body, so it shouldn't be an issue of them fitting whatsoever. And here we have the two figures. And again, even though this one's very over-exaggerated, I think it looks better. This one is still a very good-looking Kraven, but even the new head sculpt on the old body looks very good. So you can see the two there. This one doesn't look as good with that older head, whereas this one still looks pretty good with the new head. So as crazy as this new head is, it's definitely, for me, it's a better head sculpt. So there are the two swaps. Now let's see if we can get this head, actually that one too, on the Venom figure. So the Venom figure is just a Hyperion body mold. That is not Hyperion body. I'm not actually sure which body that is under the vest. I'll take a look at that shortly, but we'll pop both these heads off and we'll see if they fit on the Venom body. I actually have not tried it yet, so I'm going to be doing it for the first time. So the Kraven head fits just fine on the Venom body, but that head is teeny tiny and looks very, very, very odd. Let's see him up against Spider-Man, and I think that size difference is going to be a little too much. But again, this head looks small on it, whereas this one looks a little bit bigger and might fit a little bit better. It fits better, I would say, but I still don't think it's great. You know, it definitely sits lower on the neck, which is nice, but again, it's pretty small because the Hyperion body mold is so large. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible either. I'll try actually swapping with this one, which I actually didn't even think of until now also for some reason. So this is the older Sandman wave. The head fits on there, pops on there, but you know, it sits high and the head looks a little bit big with the old Kraven head. So now let's try the new Kraven head on the Spider-Man body. And that still looks way too big, even though it does sit on there decently. The head is just too large. So I think a good, you know, if they had this costume in the Spidey UK buck, or even maybe the all new, all different $20.99, it might fit a little bit better, but it is what it is. But anyway, we'll go back to the original way that these figures should be. So there is your new Kraven figure, and again, here is the new Spider-Man figure. So pretty cool. I like the way that looks, but again, I keep my figures all original. I don't keep any head swaps when I put them in my collection, so this is exactly how they will go in my collection. Now let's go on to Red Hulk. Okay, so I'm going to have the two Red Hulks. So that is my KO, bootleg, knockoff, overrun, whatever you want to call it. I already popped the left arm off, so I'm going to show you how to really tell the difference between a legit and a unofficial, we'll call it KO, whatever you want to call it. I want to show you the difference. The reason why I didn't do this on camera is because pulling these arms off really stresses out the plastic, so I didn't want to constantly be doing that. So I did it the one time so you guys could see. So we'll get in close, we'll build this guy, and then we'll see the difference between the two once we open this bag up, and we'll get to that right now. Okay, so I just took the pieces out and I'm actually going to put him together. I've already seen some of the differences and they're actually pretty noticeable once you really look at it. So I'm actually, I'm happier with the original, the legit, the official, the authentic. The KO is still a good figure. But there are noticeable differences. So we're going to put this guy together, but I'm not going to put him together. I'm going to leave the left arm off because we're going to do that comparison and show you guys the main difference between how having to identify, you know, the legit versus the not. So we'll start with the torso. We'll pop the right arm in and it pops in, snaps in nicely. We get the left leg in, or try to get it. It just pops, kind of pops in there. We get the right leg. That's just gonna kind of clip in. We'll get the head, and you know, there's no hinge, it's just straight ball joint there, and the head's just gonna pop right onto it like so. And here we have the Red Hulk. This is the legit Build-A-Figure. We got the arm right there, and we got the KO right there. And I'm sure you guys can see major differences between the two. So we'll get in closer on some of those areas, but I'm going to show you the main thing to see the difference. So we're going to do some zoomed in and take closer looks at some things. But right away you could tell, see some big differences. So shinier, more dark wash, and then this one not nearly as much. And the height almost looks a little bit different as well. So I'm going to have to double check that because it looks like the original is definitely taller than this one. So again, we're going to take a closer look at all of those different things. Okay, so the major difference that I want you guys to take a look at, remember, legit, KO. So legit is always going to be on the left. You see that inside ring inside there? That's where the arm is going to connect. You could see the KO, or bootleg, whatever you want to call it, has a green ring inside, whereas the legit has a blue ring inside. So blue is real, green not real. So that's the big tell between the two. Check out some other things. Okay, some other major differences. Remember, the KO is a lot shinier, but looking at the head sculpt, again, it's the shiny red plastic versus the flat plastic, and then the hair. If you look at the hair, you could see that there's gray hair in the legit one, and for the most part it's throughout the entire head sculpt with a little bit of a light gray wash over the darker color. But on the KO, if you look at it, they went very, very heavy on the gray. You could see it's almost like splotches throughout. As you can see there, it's pretty heavy, and that's throughout the entire thing. So even looking on that side, like that's a lot on there. So the darker hair is one big tell also. So you don't want all this gray wash inside of it. So that's another way to tell. On to the next point. Okay, the other big difference is again in the torso. So no dark wash or very subtle shading. Then this one has very heavy wash over it for the shading. So that's a big tell. So some people actually prefer this one. And I think it's actually back. There's a video that I watched a long time ago, a couple years ago, and I think it was actually Glenn Webb. Rest in peace, Glenn Webb. Right? He was the best. I think he had mentioned he actually liked the Overrun KO one more. There's some other differences that are leaning me more towards KO, not Overrun, because there are, you know, it's not just in paint anymore. The plastic is different, but there's something else I'll show you in the actual sculpt of the two figures. And again, very heavy on the wash, extremely subtle on the shading on the back here and on the back of the arms. You could see a little bit of shading there, whereas you really don't see it on this figure so much. And then right at the elbow, it's got this little curl there. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. See that little curl for the elbow? On the KO, it doesn't really come out too clean looking. So that's another way to tell as well. Looking at the arms, again, the shiny, shiny plastic is the big way to tell. The sculpts are essentially the exact same. It's just that shininess that's really gonna tell. And then like on my KO, if you look at the hand, there's like a little bit of extra flap of plastic there, like it was, you know, I don't know if it was 3D printed or during the manufacturing process they didn't quite get all of that. So stuff like that would be a good tell as well. So there, and then looking at the hand, that there's actually this line as part of the manufacturing of it that's not present on the KO. So a little bit of a difference there. Let's look at another big one. Okay, so on the torso, the pelvis part, the hips of the Legit, if you look, you can actually see some wrinkles and things and some cuts and some tears actually in the jeans, the seams and stuff there. That is not present on the KO, so the sculpt is different. So looking at the KO, let's see if I can get a better view of it here. It's very smooth waistline of the pants. So you can see that they did not do any of those tears or wrinkles or anything in it. Not there at all. You can see it's all very, very smooth. Look at that extra plastic there too. So very, very smooth waistline. Whereas again on the Legit, that is not a smooth waistline at all. You can see it's a little textured, and you see some of the denim, the ripped in the denim. So that's a big tell right there. Looking at the back of the sculpt of it, again, little minor things like look at the belt loop right here versus the belt loop right there. So it's those little things that, you know, that go a long way. Look at the wrinkles right there on his butt, and then look at the wrinkles here, right? Very subtle wrinkles, and then here they're very defined. You could see them like you're really stretching out the pants. Whereas this one, they're casual fit, no big deal. So there's that. There's some shading on the back of the legs on the real one. On here, we don't see that, and you see two distinct blue colors. So these lower legs, the pants were colored with a shiny blue, and they actually did a pretty good job, except the color really isn't a good match. So that's unfortunate there, because looking at the real one, it looks good. The blue matches, so that looks good, but they painted over the red, and you know what? On mine, it's pretty sloppy. Like right there, you see they missed blue paint there. On some of these tears of the denim, they just completely missed their mark as well. So you could see a lot of the red where it should be blue, but they just did not hit all those areas where they should have done blue. So some lazy paint job actually on the part of Hasbro here, whereas the KO, whoever's doing these, put a little bit of work in it. Yeah, they used the wrong color and the wrong paint and everything, but you know, there's some effort in there at least. So that's unfortunate. Another thing is, these are different sizes from what I can tell. That's why this one, the Legit one, stands a little bit taller, or actually it sits on the foot a little bit different. So you can see it's a little bit higher up on the ankle here, whereas the KO, it's a little bit lower on the ankle. So that's what's giving it it's the difference in height between the two. Not a big thing, but definitely something to point out. Now we'll look at one last thing between the two. Okay, so looking at the Red Hulk's feet, again, very subtle shading on the top of the foot, whereas here they went with the heavy shading and wash throughout. And then you could see, again, shiny, shiny plastic. So another good way to tell there. Okay, so to finish off the video, I'm going to actually finally put these arms back in so we have our completed looks at them. So here is the KO. Here is the Legit. So two still very good figures. I'm curious to know though, what do you guys think of the KO? Will you guys be picking it up? Are you guys going to stick to the original? Do you already have it? I'm curious to know. This guy you can get, I don't know, under 20 bucks on eBay. This one you're going to look at minimum $75 to $80 shipped. This one's still a good figure. You know, it all goes down to personal preference. Are you okay with a KO being in your collection or are you not? For me, I think it's okay. You know, they're quality figures. They're not pieces of junk, really. But again, it's all on preference. So I had several KOs. So I had Ronan the Accuser, the old Build-A-Figure, Red Hulk, Red She-Hulk, Fin Fang Foom. I had Crossbones. And I think that's it. I've recently got rid of all my KOs. Like, I didn't even need the Ronan the Accuser BAF because we got an MCU version, so I didn't need that. Red She-Hulk I did replace because I got it cheap, the authentic one. This guy is just because this was the last one, so I had to. Fin Fang Foom I did get a deal also, you know, based on like eBay bucks, eBay coupon, best offer. You know, I got a great deal on it, so I couldn't pass that up. Crossbones I didn't need anymore because I actually, you know, we had a movie figure. So those are all just kind of the things that kind of went on and how I did it. So it's all on preference. I don't mind KOs. I think they're okay. You know, when you're looking at spending to get a hard to find figure, an older figure that's not in production any longer, if you can get a cheap KO, it's going to serve its purpose in terms of how it's going to look in your display. In terms of Legends, other types can be a little bit trickier. So again, all on the preference and what you prefer, but for under 20 bucks, this is not a bad figure by any means necessary. Again, preference for your collection. So if you want to get a KO, by all means get a KO and you'll be happy with the figure and you'll be happy with the price. If you want to pay more and get the legit, you'll be happy with it as well. Again, they're very, very similar, minor differences. Again, it's just really on the aesthetics of the figure itself. The articulation is going to be the same, all of that. So just on how you go. But I am curious to know what you guys think between the two. Do you have the KO? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you have the legit? Do you have both? Let me know down in the comments below and we'll talk about it. If you guys liked the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.